Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. I am Ron Smith, and this is the Dr. Ron Smith Investigate Show, where we separate the real from fake, the fact from fiction, and give you the winner's edge. And sometimes we're able to turn your water into wine. Today, we're going to be talking about what you need to know about investment property. But before we get there, one of the things that I know that we need to do extensively in our community, we have to get the proper mindset regarding money. It's amazing that at the turn of the century, where our community built all the HBCUs from the churches and the community on pennies, and built all these brick buildings that, by the way, that we need to go back and visit and invest in our HBCUs because some of them are falling apart, to be honest with you. But one of the things is that we have to have the proper mindset. It's amazing that they had the mindset they want to strive for education. They built a community. And we talk all the time, at least I do with my friends, about Black Wall Street. We talk about Tulsa. We talk about even here in the Virginia area, where there was Jackson Ward District up in Richmond, where Magdalene Walker was the first Black female bank president. Just imagine that. I had the opportunity to actually visit her home, which is I think it's one of the national treasures right now. And believe it or not, she had an elevator in her 2-story home, which one of the things that impressed me about the home. But how can we rebuild those type of vibrant neighborhoods? And we do it by investing back into investment properties. Nothing would change your life more than having a relationship with God, having a relationship that considered with loved ones, and changing your FICO score about 100 points. Where if it's 500 now, you could get it up to 620. If it's 620 now, get it up to 720. If it is 720 now, you could break it over into the 800. Nothing stressed that I think that will change your life more than those three things: relationship with God, your relationship that you have with your family, and changing your credit score. One of the things that stresses us out daily, I try to read multiple newspapers and keep up with what's going on in the world. And by the way, I do have my fast days that I don't do any of those things. So because that keeps my sanity. But if we were going to change our neighborhoods, and I'm thinking about the neighborhoods that basically ones that we left behind, and some of the houses are deteriorating, torn down, and what we call urban areas, is that we can reclaim those things. What we need to do is that to resolve the issues in our life. Finance and money affects everything that we do, from the time you get up in the morning until the time you get back in the bed, which means that basically the pillows or the sheets that you put your head on, all the utilities that you use, the heat, the AC, the toothpaste, the shoes, the clothes, your car, automobile, groceries, all those things cost money. So it is behoove us that we have to make sure that we have a basic of financial literacy. So basically we can dictate the things in life. One of the things that I know for sure is there's the stressors of money cause divorces. It causes, college dropout. I was on my sophomore year, I was teetering whether I should get a job or to stay in school. By chance, and I'll tell that story later, that I got a job that made me rethink that I need to get a good education. But domestic violence in our communities, the heart attacks, the headaches, all these things are stressors. And the fundamental things is it's about the way we use finance or the lack thereof. The scripture said the love of money is the root of evil. But it's the lack of money caused all the other criminal activities in our neighborhood. But think about this. If I get you and we get our neighbors and our seniors to increase their credit scores by 100, we would change the check cashing systems in our neighborhood to credit unions. We could change the food deserts into food lions. We could change the liquor stores in our neighborhood to convenience stores. And the common denominator is that we have reset our mindset and improve our credit scores. Think about how we can actually revitalize our neighborhood by everybody having what we call stakeholders, having properties, things that we want to see our neighbors and our neighborhood to do well. And that is part of the change in our mindset. When we think about Tulsa and the Black Wall Street, they had in mind that basically they want the excellence in their community, which means that basically everybody was within that neighborhood was self-supportive, and they actually helped each other. You know, doctors, dentists, drugstores, grocery stores. We did not allow our dollars and our purchasing power to leave our neighborhood unless it went through all those spots in our neighborhood. And there's many models that I'm not going to talk about right now, but those are the things that we have to do first before we even talk about investment property. So the education that we need to talk about first is basically the financial literacy. One of the things, and I'm working with a couple of young ladies right now, and we're going through the budget process, and basically they wrote me notes and saying basically this has helped them to develop more strategies. And also we are talking about getting their annual credit report, because you can get your credit report to see exactly where you are, and free creditscore.com or annual credit report, and you could go directly to the three major ones, which is TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and to get your credit report. So past episodes we talk about the credit scores from 300 is bad to 850 is A plus plus. So the thing about it, the average credit score hovers around 400 and 500. And the thing about it, there are things that you can do with a 580 credit score. But the thing about it, since numbers don't lie, you have to realize that if I do try to purchase a home, it will cost me more in interest. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about that later. But the reason why you want to get your FICO score, which actually is the Fair Isaac Corporation, and basically they just have these big old computers, and they give the financial institutions your credit report, which means basically how you utilize your money. 30% is your payment history. 35% is your payment history. 30% is your amounts you owe. 15% is the length of your credit history. 10% is your mix, whether you get a credit card, got a mortgage, or paying a car payment. And 10% is basically those hard inquiries. I recommend that you don't get those Macy's cards, the JCPenney cards, Dillard's cards. Those are hard inquiries that are negative effect on your credit score. And also, we need to talk about, once you do have a credit card, what your credit utilizations are. All those things are important, because basically you don't want to go over 30% of your credit utilization. And I talked about that in episode, I think 18 and 19. And I gave you the example that if your credit limit is $1,000, you don't want to go over $300 on that particular card. So those are the basic things. So one of the things that I know we have to find a way that we could talk to our children and talk to our seniors about this credit report, because It would take all of us. Think about it. If we can buy back our block, go back into our neighborhood or invest in our old neighborhoods and buy those homes that might be need repair, and there could be an investment portfolio that you could begin with, and also you could either buy purchase the property and rehab it and flip it, rent it out, etc. And we're gonna get a little bit about investment strategies a little later. But you still have to understand your cash flow. And the only way that you understand your cash flow is understand having to create a budget, because you have to understand what your cash flow in and your cash flowing out. And the only way that you could do that, understand what your assets and what and your expenses are. And one of the challenges that I'm working with a group now is to actually put that in writing. There was a saying that said, "What gets measured gets done." When you put it out in writing, you'll not just the process of you writing it down with your pen and paper and actually visualizing it, which is a little different than doing it on your phone or putting it on your computer. It's one of those kind of like a spiritual connection. Once you do that, you will see where your money is going. Once you understand where your money is going, it's easier to get control and project where you want it to go. And of course, I got my simplification is that my 40, 30, 20, 10, which is 40% of your needs, 30% your wants. Use 20% of your income to pay down your debt and invest, and 10%, I'm a tither, or you could give to your charities or make your donations, and don't wait till the end of the year to do those things. But in that way, you can understand and control your cash flow. You have to. You'll feel better about yourself and feel better, more control about your life if you can actually see where your life is going. That's the major emphasis of this, besides understanding where your money is going. Now, since I do live in Virginia, and I happen to live in Virginia Beach, one of the studies that I ran across is that I know what they say. Realistically, you shouldn't spend over 30% of your income on lodging or your housing. Unfortunately, in this city, where people are spending close to 40 to 50, and some of them are spending 65% of the income on housing, and that need to be addressed. And the only way that you can address that is that you also invest in a project that basically you can have a little more control over. And sometimes that might mean that you might need to leave and go to another city, where it's more advantageous, that you can get what we call more bang for your buck. I invested in Virginia Beach for other reasons that I'll get into maybe later, because it's more of an investment property. But if I was looking for a place to live, more than likely I probably won't be living in Virginia Beach, because I can probably get more bang for my buck, for lack of a better phrase, living in another city. But we have discussed that at another time. Okay, one of the things that what mortgage lenders and I guess financial institutions look for is they look for your work history, they go look for your credit score, and they look for your payment. It's because the bottom line is they want to get that paid regardless of all this other stuff. You can look barely good on paper, but they want a return on the investment. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take a quick break right now, and then we're going to come back into what the financial institution are looking for. See you on the flip side.
Follow the crowd. Sat on the back row. Got myself ready. Thought I was gonna see a show. Someone said to me, glad you made it today. Wait till you hear.
Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. We are on the flip side, and we've been talking about investment properties. But what we were really talking about is having a mindset that we are going to take control over our finances. And, I talked about, Black Wall Street. And the thing about it is that our forefathers had a mind to change the way what the community looked like. I think we have to go back to the blueprint. And one of the blueprints is that basically they did not allow their money to go outside the community without being circulating among each other. I know prior to desegregation, all the doctors and professionals and dentists and teachers and professors all live in the same neighborhood. And one of the things that I know for sure is that we have to, in order to regain some of the things that we lost, we have to go back to that blueprint. And the blueprint is getting everybody in our neighborhood educated on basic financial literacy. And the basic financial literacy is basically what do my credit history look like? And I am graded just like I was graded in school. I was given a score. And basically, I mentioned that credit scores go from 300 to 850. And 850 is that A plus. You remember that nerd in class that everybody used to pick on? Now everybody is borrowing money from. That is the grade that we need to get back to. And the only way that we can do that is actually set ourselves up for success, as well as set up our children for success. And I'll give you a quick story. And I had shared this before, I think in episode 1 and 2, is that I was a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. And I went to my first duty station, and everybody was driving up in Porsches, Corvettes, and all these Lexuses and all these other vehicles. And I had my brand new Nissan Sentra, which was a very good car, by the way. But my point is that these guys were driving up, and I was wondering how were they able to purchase these vehicles. And basically all my money went to my Sentra. Long story short, what I found out years later is that their parents set them up on their credit card as authorized users. So by the time they graduated from college, they had over 10 years of credit history of, that set them up for 800 plus a credit score. Since, I didn't have that inherit that knowledge, I abused the credit cards that I had. So that was the challenge for me that I had to overcome. So one of the things that one of the things that we have to share is setting up our children for success. And one of the things that set them up for success is that we need to have them on as authorized users on our credit card, so they can regain their credit history. So in 10 years, because it takes that kind of length of time to get that 850 or 800, 820 credit score. So that was one of the little tricks that I learned later. So we have to start strategizing how we going to regain and financial literacy in our community. And it's amazing that I know there's certain school districts, and it's talking about financial literacy back in schools. And I took a look at their curriculum, and the curricular is still, for me, it's not fundamentally sound. It's they give you the general realities of uh, uh, banking accounts, savings accounts, and they give you analysis of setting up a budget, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, and that is good. That's better than nothing. But I think we need more uh, for what this economy is challenging us to do. So what I left off at is basically what financial institutions look for. Basically, they look for the work history, looking for your credit score, and actually looking at how you're going to pay it back. And minimum, you need at least 2 years of solid work history. And you don't need to have a work history that you're jumping around from job to job. They're looking for stability, because what they really looking for is the return on their investment. And if you're, still jumping, that doesn't show them that you are doing something stable. And also, they're looking for, are you staying in the same genre of work? It's not, keep on, jumping from different jobs, and it seems like you kind of helter skelter. And we talk about credit score. Any good credit score is like 640. A better credit score is like 720, and great credit score is like 680. So if you put your mind into that, have your mindset, this is where I need to go. There's a few things that once you get your credit score, you need to look at there and analyze and see what in your past credit history that has penalized you from achieving the next score. One of the things I can share with you, not any of the credit bureaus is going to dismiss any of those late payments, no payments, etc. Even if they're 7 years old. That is some of the things that you need to get annually, and you need to contest. I need to do a whole show on how you can get some of those things erased. So I won't get into that right now. But there's letters that you can write, and there's a strategy that you can use with those credit unions to get those things taken off. And it is a process. It's going to take you between 3 and 6 months to get those things taken off. That's why we need to have a proper financial education in our neighborhood, because sometimes we get in a hurry and think something should be taking place real fast, but it's not going to happen that way. So let's go into some of the strategies. When you find some properties in our neighborhood, you have to understand what is your strategy. I look at a lot of HGTV, and they have a lot of TV shows doing a whole lot of things about, first of all, flipping houses. And flipping houses is a great concept, and it's a good investment strategy. But you got to understand there's some pros and cons with that. But if we are going to take back our neighborhoods, that might be one of the ways that we can actually do it, which means that we go into see a property that is looked somewhat in distress, and basically we can invest some money into it to get it back to serviceability. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can get involved with that. As far as that, you can actually buy the property and you can live in it while you rehabbing it. or you can actually, go ahead and flip it and rent it out, or you can, flip it and you can buy and hold and rent, or you can set up your own rent to own if you want to give back to the community. Uh, One of the things that has hurt us in the past because a lot of these areas we can actually invest in. With, let's say we purchase a home for $20,000 and we put 70,000 in it, and then we put it back on the market for like 120 or 150. And the thing about it is, that in the neighborhood that it might be in, it might be in a neighborhood where there's a food desert. It might be in a neighborhood where there is, those things that I talk about, the rent to own neighborhoods and such. But if we have a strategy in place, we can, let's say we purchased 6 to 8 of the homes off that block. And if we each have a investment and turn all those houses into viable pieces of real estate, we can change that block back. It might take more than just 1 or 2 investment individuals. We might have to have a consortium to come in and to say that we're going to get together, get 10 of your sorors or your 10 of your frat brothers and say that we're going to go ahead and reclaim this neighborhood. And that would be one of the suggestions to how I can, right off the top of my head, that you can do that with. Then you think about it, whether you're going to get a property manager or you're going to manage it yourself, or you have some persons within your investment group who understands real estate, who has done a few things to actually do that. Once you locate a property, you can either, be your own bird dog and drive around and see what's available, or you can talk to a realtor to see what's in there, and within certain neighborhoods. One of the things when you get to that property, and I mentioned this before, you want to do your own appraisal. First I go from the top to the bottom. Is how I look at it. So I look at the outside, I look at the roof, I look at the gutters, I see the drainage system, and basically make sure that there is no standing water around those things. And then I go into inside, where I go into the attic and make sure that there proper there's no dampness also. And then I go inside, make sure there's the plumbing, the sinks, the toilets, and there's no leaks, and of course the HVAC system. Make sure there's no cracks, stains, and stuff on the floors. And basically, how do we get our neighborhood back? We have to get back by investing back into it. The reason why our certain neighborhoods are going down is because we don't have ownership. We need to get back to ownership, and we need to get back by educating our people about how they need to position themselves to purchase property. And the only way that you can do that is make sure you know what your credit scores are and you have your budget and all of those things. When we come together, we can do marvelous things. We can rebuild our neighborhood just as good as Tulsa did, was what we call the Black Wall Street. We can reclaim our neighborhood, and since all the property values haven't increased, your rent is going to increase. You need to find ways that you can actually be in somewhat control. I appreciate your time. We need to take back all the things that we have lost in our community, and can do that by investing back into our properties. Thank you for your time. I'll see you next week. We'll talk more about the conversation I wish I had, but we can reclaim